That's what I wanted to say. I'm gonna go back to that. So in like 2012, I really became consumed with like this 5D. We're moving to 5D. Like, you know what I mean? And so and it feels great. And like fourth density. I mean, we're already in 4D because the fourth dimension is time, but fourth density, and I don't even really know what that means. Fifth dimension, fourth density. And I say those words, I think they're correct, but I don't exactly understand them. But anyway, you know what I found lately is how much I love the 3D world. Like,
oh, interesting.
I love it. And I love my time here. I love this contrast. I love it. And I'm starting to think, dude, you better love the 3D world or you're not going to the 5D.
Yeah, it's a hot day. I'm hanging in the sunshine. You should hit me with the splash gun so I cool down. Won't you come on over? We can party till the sun's down.
Now I can hear you. Yes, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Where are you at? What country are you in?
Malta currently. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I have not.
It's a tiny island on Mediterranean Sea in Europe.
How long have you been there?
My gosh, nearly 4 years now. As a new adventure to me over here as well. But it is. And as you said, it feels to me as well as it's getting faster and faster. And as you said, I'm not sure if it's because of us aging, if that makes sense, but if this is the frequencies or whatever is going on right now. I guess we will never know. Lately, it has been such a roller coaster for me, not only me, but it's kind of correlates with the whole pandemic and when it happened. But I think it accelerated the speed of things happening.
Yep, I agree.
Anyway, for the past 2 years. And but it kind of feels like we're just getting ready for something bigger or something that it's like we're just getting closer to it. Let's put it. That's how I feel.
I felt like that from 2012 until now. So there's a part of me that's like, I can feel that, but another part of me is like, well, maybe this is it. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I might be waiting for more people to feel like this, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel great. And I just feel in the flow of life. And I don't know. It does feel like something big is happening. I don't know what that is, but I'm cool with however it turns out anyway.
Perhaps this awakening that you are talking about all those years, that's what's happening. And maybe just more people is joining the field. And perhaps that's what also accelerates it, as well as gives you this feeling of a big thing happening. And for me, this is I think how I call it consciousness expansion kind of started 2017 really. So it not has been as long as 2012 since you feel like that. So, and that's where I'm just getting more conscious from there.
Yeah, totally. I think it just continues to expand. Just things make more sense. I think that's what we're here for, is to feel that. I mean, obviously, I hope we reach like some kind of 100th monkey effect where we reach this mass tipping point. You know,
I absolutely believe that.
The information that resonates with me is there is a splitting of realities happening. I don't actually understand that. But I can feel it, and I feel it in my life. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not living the feeling of living in my own bubble world is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Okay.
I think it's happening individually. And so, you know, I remember when I first started making videos, there was a lot of people talking about September 17th. There's going to be a big shift. You know what I mean? Like a big purple wave of energy is going to come over.
Mm-hmm.
And I allowed myself to get excited about that. You know, it's like, oh God, let's see what happens. Nothing happened. And then it was another date. Nothing happened. And then it was another date. Nothing happened. And then I just realized, you know, this is happening individually. On some level, I think it already happened to me. And I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I don't even care to know. I just
I think it's hard to pinpoint it because it's a process.
Yeah, totally.
So it's continuum. It's not like we arrive there and we there or okay, it happened now. So I think this just grows like an expansion of universe. You said you believed in it, but it only happened to you. So you believed in these frequencies to exist or something out there like frequencies. Then it happened to you.
I don't want to say that I was completely asleep. In 2007 was really the first time that I became aware of like that we're in this field and that our thoughts leave our being and go out into this field and that we're attracting and that we're connected in this field. Nobody had ever said that before in my life. I'd never heard how your thoughts and your emotions, feelings are creating your life. I'd never heard that. And as soon as I heard it, it resonated. And then it started leading me down these different, you know, rabbit holes of, you know, discovering the field and quantum mechanics. And then it went, and it was mostly science. And then it led into the esoteric. And then I started getting into the channeled information of like Seth and like, you know, Abraham Hicks. And, you know, so it was getting into the esoteric. And then when I would come across the really deep, like, you know, we are these beings of consciousness. We're living all these different lives at the same time, and all these different. Anyway, it always resonated with me, but you know, I'm living in the 3D world. That's what I wanted to say. I'm gonna go back to that. So in like 2012, I really became consumed with like this 5D. We're moving to 5D. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I found lately is how much I love the 3D world. Like,
oh, interesting.
I love it. And I love my time here. I love this contrast. I love it. Have you ever heard of Mateus de Stefano? I probably butchered his last name.
I think so, because this name rings the bell. And when you start talking about the densities and dimensions, I think like a few days ago, I literally watched, I think it was him talking about it.
I was listening to him on this interview, and this guy was talking about, you know, I've been having these experiences and they seem kind of like they feel fifth dimensional. And so he started explaining these experiences to him. And I really believe that this Mateus dude does have memory of all his other lives. And I do think he's a wealth of wisdom. But I was laughing so hard because I think he's super funny. This guy was talking about the fifth dimension. He goes, yeah, but the fifth dimension gets boring. He goes, that's why we're here. We're in the third dimension because this is not boring, man. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, dude, we shouldn't shun this third dimension. Like, we shouldn't act like this is lower than the fifth dimension. There is something special about being here. And, but
interesting, because I didn't, sorry, I just wanted to say that when you said that we need to love 3D in order to move to 5D, I never thought of it that way. And this really resonates. It makes so much sense. And then earlier when you were talking about living in your own bubble,
Mm-hmm.
It's also interesting because I sometimes, because I feel like that as well, like I'm living in my own bubble, like I don't let I'm not seeking certain informations when it comes to the current situation, how many, the numbers and all of that, I'm just not
Yep.
following.
Yep.
And sometimes I'm doubting myself if this is like I'm living in my own bubble, but is it really good? Should I be going through?
Well,
so
every one of us is projecting our inner beliefs out into the world, and the world is being a mirror to that. So on that sense, we're absolutely living in our own bubble world. And I think the more we awaken, the more our consciousness expands, the thicker that membrane in our bubble gets. It's like the less we're affected by the external world. I really feel like I'm watching a movie with all this shit that's going on. It's like there's a time when I would watch it, it would get in me and I would get affected, and like I'd get emotional and I'd get upset and I'd get this and I'd get that. And it just doesn't affect me anymore, like in that way. I still, there's a part of me that's like, wow, I'm watching this play out and I'm like, wow, they're really pushing this really far. Wow, they're really like, they're really going for this power grab, aren't they, with this, so
and
I'm not totally
sometimes
detached,
it feels
but
like they need to how I look at it now, it's or sometimes it feels like basically they need to push it, or I'm asking myself how hard they need to actually push for the rest to see how ridiculous it is.
I never talk about conspiracy theories on my channel. I never really talked about this pandemic or these vaccines or what my beliefs are about how this all started or what's going on. I just keep that to myself because this is a spiritual channel. This is about awakening. This is about shit that's way more important than how we're being manipulated. But I think it's probably obvious that I don't believe a word that comes out of my government's mouth. I've been lied to over and over and over throughout my life. Do you know that just 20 years ago, my government came out and said a 757 passenger jet flew into the Pentagon? Do you know how big a 757 jet is? The government told me that Building 7 on 9/11 collapsed in on itself in its own footprint because of a fire. A fire. Now, if you believe a 757 jet flew into the Pentagon, and if you believe that Building 7 collapsed in its own footprint from a fire, you will believe anything you're told. There is a reality where, 1984, Big Brother that's going to play out, but it's not going to happen in my reality. It's because, like I said, I think there's a splitting of reality. The closest I can even start to comprehend what that means is we had this thing called the Mandela effect. I think it was mostly
that's how I found you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So clearly there is a shifting of realities taking place because there's just hundreds or maybe even thousands of things that I know happened in my reality, and they're not in this reality. So, why I shifted into this fucking reality, I don't know yet, but I think this is the one to be in. I think this is the most exciting. Like, this is it, dude. Like, this is.
I think we all guided by the frequencies as well, since we are on this, and like, I do believe that everything around us, that's what it is, frequencies. And when it comes to even those densities or dimensions, I don't know if we can say either or this is the same thing, but in my head, it's kind of getting mixed up.
Yeah.
Density and dimension. And they differ They differ in frequencies. Basically, that's what it is. We just
Yep.
the consciousness then, because in higher densities or dimensions, there is no 3D, there is no physicality, there is no body as such.
Mhm.
So I think the consciousness can basically tune to every frequency imaginable
Mm-hmm.
or not by us, and we just tuned into this one.
Yep.
Basically, but yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. Very exciting.
Have we ever had a session?
No.
No. Okay. Have you ever taken part in my group sessions?
But I think once I was able to basically tune at the time that you were doing it, but I
Okay.
think it was just once. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you feel these frequencies in your hands when you try?
I think a little bit,
Okay.
not very pronounced, but then again, I haven't practiced a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When I came across your videos, the first one I think I watched was the mandala effect, and then it's whatever you did beforehand, I binge watched and I'm following you since.
Okay.
And I think that was also in around 2017. And so then I did, like, I can feel it, but I never used it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't practice. I haven't give anyone a session, or I did try with my cat a little bit, but she's not interested.
Okay. So what was it that made you want to do this right now then? Was there anything that's happened, or you just were like, dude, let's just do this?
I think this year has been also very eye-opening for me. I dabbed into, like, actually late last year it started. I was drawn towards astrology. I was drawn towards, I mean, many different things, but astrology kind of confirmed that when it comes to the planet alignments, and I'm still not, I'm studying it actually. I'm going to continue my studies.
When you do get into it, I think it's like 30 years to actually learn.
Yeah, I think you can learn all your life. But what I wanted to say is that I'm going to study it more in order to be able to perhaps read other people's charts, that kind of way.
Yeah.
But the planetary alignment kind of confirmed that this is the year of my self discovery, going even deeper, and it, to be honest, it kind of proved. And I only had a reading, the natal chart reading, in October right now, so that's where I find out that it actually confirmed whatever was happening during this year. And I was just broadening my horizons again, and then, like, my consciousness just keeps on expanding, right? And I came to many conclusions, and things are, I don't know, people talk about channeling, but it's more like, I feel like it's a download of things. I'm just kind of,
not even sure
the
there's
hunches and intuition and all of that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying I'm a channeler as such, but I'm downloading the informations, and I kind of being guided what I should be doing. And so one thing what brought me here today, like, I have some expectations, I guess, because I would really like, my goodness, I'm sorry. There's too many thoughts at one time in my head sometimes. And it kind of happens right now as well. Because just before we jump on a call, I was thinking about it. Why now? And so when it comes, sorry, I'll go back to my expectations, not expectations, because I don't really have expectations. But on another hand, I'm hoping that this session, this reconnection, this calibration, whatever we want to call it, will help me get rid of the last kind of blockages, because I feel like there's still something blocking me. There is still some fear. There's, like, I really, first of all, want to and feel kind of the need of stepping into my power, but there is still the programming that just keeps me to shy away from it. Like I feel like there is a little bit of that fear what others will say, but this is so bizarre since I already left a lot of it like behind me. Like I really don't care. Like I'm doing this weird, sometimes some might call woo-woo things and all. I'm going into that. So I could, but still something is there. So I'm hoping this will just help me with that.
The blockages, yeah.
Yes, those blockages, this old programming, programming that it's still preventing some things to happen. Because I hear the calling. I'm getting the downloads, and then
You question it.
Yes, I start questioning it, and it's like, oh, yeah, and then it kind of crumbles. And there are a few things that I kind of started, and now I'm getting even more things. Like I'm currently designing the website because so yeah, astrology kind of led me towards it, but this one is called galactic astrology, so I'm not even sure if you're aware, but it's basically where our souls, or rather when we talk about those densities and dimensions, that could translate to also star systems. And in different star systems, in different galaxies, the beings are no longer embodied. They basically different level, different frequency and different state of consciousness. So this all kind of ties in. And I'm not looking now at astrology as just the Earth-centric, but the galactic one. So that just opened another dimension for me, basically.
Nice.
So I started like last few days really, and the end of this year as well. Kind of this feels like climax of it all, to be honest. And there are still some brokerages like I feel like I need to get rid of. So yeah, I started building this website, and now I'm starting to question myself if it's even worth it. Should I do? Just the longer the process takes, the more those questions come in.
Yeah.
And I wish to get rid of it. And another thing is what I was thinking right now earlier is the fact the time when I found you, I guess both of us, we weren't ready to do it. When it comes even like there was no way I would be going to States back then and all of it. And you were doing only the face-to-face reconnections. Yes. And now you're doing the remote ones. So
yeah. I mean, I always did remote sessions. I just never did remote reconnections, the 2-day process. And I just now that I've done it for a year, it is absolutely time. Like it's
a year already. I
still feel like well, maybe not a year.
A few months ago.
Yeah, no, maybe it's not a year. Maybe I don't know how long it's been, but I know I started
could
this
be a
year. Excuse me.
Okay, it could be a year. It's just that for me, it all because of this time.
Yeah, I know.
Weird thing, it's happening to time right now, and it just totally stretches, and then So
I was thinking of a good metaphor on the difference between these reconnections and these quantum calibrations and a regular healing session, a regular session. And I was thinking, like, if it's almost like our true essence, our true being, our true potential is in us, but yet we've built this dam. And it's preventing our true essence from taking over, from our higher self to just take over our life. And I was thinking that like the sessions, one session can absolutely explode your dam. You know what I mean? It can just be exactly what someone needed, just to like, boom, done. And you just pour forward. Other times, people that have built really thick dams. You know, their programming is really deep, and that it starts taking the bricks away. You know what I mean? And, you know, the person's ego, the first thing they want to do is start putting those bricks back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you can almost like be ready to like come through, but then the ego's like putting those bricks back and like, no, not yet, not yet. And I was just thinking like these quantum calibrations or this reconnection, you can't put the bricks back fast enough. It's coming down. You know what I mean? So no matter how fast you try to like, I'm not ready. Tough shit, man. It's coming down, and get ready.
And the second session, it just seals that in place.
Well,
right?
it's really weird because the first session and the second session are very, very similar. It's I mean, to be honest with you, man, I've been doing this for 10 years and I consider myself a master at it, but I don't really understand it. You know, I just know the process, and there's been many times that I'm in the middle of the process and I'm watching people do their thing and I know it's working and I'm going, how is this working? Like, how does this work? Man, you know what I mean? Like how am I when I just draw this silhouette around somebody, how is this working? You know what I mean? So it's not like I totally get it. I just know that I can do it. So I just know it works. I forgot your question. You said something that maybe was a question, and then I forgot.
I don't know. That's now what came to mind. Yes. So the second session is
the second session, yeah. And basically, the sessions are the same, except for the very end. I do these things called Solomon seals. When I was taught how to do this, they said, once you do this, there is nothing on this planet that can stop what's going to happen. I don't know, man. I just love the way that sounds. You know what I mean? So I was having this conversation with one of my friends, clients in Canada, and they were extremely worried that they worked at a hospital and they had resisted the vaccine for as long as they possibly could. And it was to the point where they were going to have to walk away from their 26-year job that they've been doing for 26 years, that they love. They love this job. They love everything about it. And that she was going to have to be vaccinated or they were not going to allow her to work. And she was really in turmoil about this because it doesn't resonate with her, but yet, you know, she loves her job. She loves the people she works with. She loves everything about it.
Yeah.
And I had reconnected her in Canada a couple years back. And I told her about those seals. And I was like, when I do this, there is nothing on this planet. I go, there's no fucking vaccine. I don't care what it cannot affect you. And I believe that 100%. And it made her feel so much better about being forced to do this. So anyway.
Oh man, I didn't even think of it. That it could help. Like this is another even an extra thing. And if I will feel the frequency, you call it frequencies, right?
Yeah. Frequencies. Yeah, totally.
If I will feel it even stronger, then I don't mind that either.
Yeah.
I'm totally open to all of these extras, I guess.
I would be very surprised if you can't feel these frequencies much stronger in your hands. Afterwards. And I do recommend it because I just think that the second best thing you can do for yourself is meditate every day. And I think the number one thing that you can do is to bring these sensations into your awareness. Maybe I think that because that's what I do for a living, and it's super easy for me, and I'm not a big meditator, but there has been plenty of research that shows that when you bring these sensations into your hands and you bring your awareness to them and you just play with these sensations, that your brain immediately goes into the gamma state. And I just think that it's the best thing that you can do. Maybe when more research comes out, it'll only validate that more. But I think it's almost like a loophole in this 3D matrix to become present, to access higher, different frequency thoughts. I think that if you're in a really, really bad place and you're really depressed and you're really, you're just in a bad place, you're only going to access a very specific, spectrum of thoughts and emotions. Like you're not going to access you're not going to access the answers that you need in your life at that level. And I think that when people meditate, or when they put their awareness on these sensations, that they go to a state where they can start to access new information that is the answers to the challenges that they're going through. So I just think that it's important, and some people can't feel
Sounds
it,
great.
and so then they should meditate. But for those that can feel it, I think that they should do this and meditate.
The thing is, I guess I don't know if this is what I'm feeling, because I can definitely, I feel like a swirling sensation, like there's a vortex kind of.
So what do you think that is?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that what you feel normally? Or like...
But I guess yeah, I guess it's just you don't think about and I don't know. I see this is it. Like I didn't really, as I said, play with it enough, or I thought it should be like when you talk about being an antenna and whatever you say, I have like an image of it in my head, right? Like there is this beam of light, and so it's a beam, and for me, it's basically like something starts to swirl, and it just goes into this thinner, and then again brighter, wider.
Yeah.
Thingy.
So the beam thing is really when you're actually doing these reconnections. That's when that beam sensation comes in. So I feel that swirly. I feel that swirly part. I feel, it always has like a kind of a different feeling. It has a similar feeling all the time, but there's different feelings. But only when I do these is when the actual feeling of a beam. And maybe that's just because I was told when I was trained, imagine a beam of light coming through your palm. So, maybe that's why it feels like a beam so much, just because, that's what I was told. But it's a great feeling, and I have no desire to change the way it feels. So, yeah. But that's I feel a swirling vortex, but I'm not sure. It's like, wow, no, that's pretty much it, dude. Like, yeah, you're feeling it for sure.
No, I am feeling it. But this is it, like, because during my consciousness expansion and everything, you probably have seen, I think it was the Sixth Element movie.
The Fifth Element? Or...
Fifth or Sixth?
I'm not sure who was in it.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, the Fifth Element. Yeah,
the fifth. That was the Sixth Sense with him. So the Fifth Element. Yes, and where she basically, the scene where she is learning everything. She's in front of the TV and she's just consuming the information, right? About Earth, about languages, about everything, and that's how it feels to me. The past 4 years, I have reached out to so many different rabbit holes, or not only rabbit holes, because I'm going up onwards and upwards than now. And so there was also chakras and different belief systems, and now these frequencies, you and string theory and astrology, and then galactic astrology and aliens are real, and all of it. So that's why I don't know how to call this kind of vortex. Is it the same thing that you are feeling, or is this the same frequencies?
I got you. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I just think,
and since I know we have chakras in our hands as well as our feet, and that's how we basically get the energy from the Mother Earth, of everything from up. So,
I personally think, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with me. I didn't invent this. I got it from somebody. I don't even know where I got it from. But I think that these frequencies have been waiting in this section of the galaxy, waiting for Earth to come through. Like, that's how, like, the ancients knew that this was the time. This was the time we were going to awaken. Like that's how it was predetermined, because like when the Earth gets into this section, dude, there's a new thing there. And it's going to start to awaken their DNA. And as your DNA awakens, your connection with source becomes clearer and clearer. We start remembering we're multidimensional beings. From that perspective, everybody on the planet this frequency is going through them, right? Everybody on the planet. Like people like me, my role is to say, hey, dude, there's like this fucking frequency that will change your life if you tune into it. And when you do start to awaken, you don't need anybody else. You don't need, like, it's all inside. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, this resonates. This doesn't resonate. I'm leaning this way.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. Like, I don't understand why everybody can't feel it. I don't, but oh well. But you're absolutely feeling it. When you're like, I feel like this vortex, like in the palms of my hand. Yeah,
but it's really subtle sensation.
Well, of course it's going to be subtle in the beginning, and the reason it's subtle is because you haven't given it the time. You know what I mean?
Energy, like, as well.
For me, when I first felt it, it was super subtle. I knew it was there, but it was subtle, and the more I played with it, the more I put my attention to it, the stronger it became. But just because it feels stronger doesn't mean I'm any better at it. You know what I mean? Like,
you're just more aware of it.
I don't waver in it. Like there's no wavering anymore. Like there's no like, is this real? There's no like, I just never question if this is real anymore. And
if I'm really feeling it, is this what I'm feeling, or this is something else, right? Yeah.
And I never question my purpose anymore in life. I don't.
That's what I want.
So
that's what I want.
But I don't even know what my purpose is. But I don't question it. You know what I mean? Like I know that I do this for a living now, but I don't know what I'll do in 10 years or 5 years. I don't even know if I'll be on the planet. And you know what I mean? Like I just know that I'm headed in a direction, and right now this feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe I'm supposed to start a children's book publishing business to where I put out 20 of the most amazing, inspiring children's books. I don't know. I mean, that feels creative to me. That feels exciting to me. Because I know that I just wrote probably the greatest children's book. Like, it's so good. Like, I can't even believe how good it is.
Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. This is going